Well, it's been quite an interesting last 6 weeks. Um, been going between locations at work, traveling about 50, 60 miles a day, basically managing two teams at one time. It's been, let's just say, interesting. Last week was the last week of it, so I'm glad to say that. This week, I started a 9-day vacation, so yeah, had some plans. I was going to do some things here and there. Pretty much all those plans fell through, and here I am at the house. So this morning I cut the grass before it got 100 degrees out. So anyways, not much else going on. Vacation. I might do some stuff, might do some videos. I don't know. Camping's pretty much done. It's too hot. Travel too far up north to get away from the heat, 6, 7, 8 hours. I just don't have it in me to do that right now. So anyways, until then, I got 5 envelopes that we're going to open up on today's Mailbag Monday. So this first envelope comes to us from the Sacramento, California area. I have never been to Sacramento, California. I've never been past like San Antonio. I don't know. I'd like to visit California one time. Not right now, but yeah. So what we have here, it's like an old school motel. Got a pool, some old 50s style cars, 60s style cars. Everybody hanging out there enjoying the pool. Let's see where this motel is at. This is the Beck Motel and Coffee Shop on US Highway 45, 2 miles south of Waynesboro, Mississippi. Large rooms and suites for your comfort, air-conditioned, electric heat, individual room temperature controls, room phones, tile baths, tub and shower combination. Free TV and radio, wall-to-wall carpeting, complimentary coffee and rooms. Charbroiled steaks featured in our coffee shop. Now, if you've never heard of Waynesboro, Mississippi, it's not surprising. That town right now it might be 5,000 people in it. When this postcard was made, the town was about 3,500, give or take a little bit. It's not a very big town. It's kind of a logging town, just kind of one of those small little country towns that expanded a little bit. It has some, like McDonald's and things like that. Nothing too crazy. I actually go by this. It's not a hotel anymore. It is actually the Beck Apartments now. This opened in between 1940 and mid 50s, I think it was. Looking at historic aerials on that website. Also, in 1951, they actually opened, not the people that own this, but there was a drive-in theater that was open right here on the backside of the property across the street there. And I think it ran to like the 60s or 70s. Anyways, you can see here on the screenshot I got, you can see where the motel and the screen was, the parking was, that sort of thing. Now, off to the side here, this was the restaurant. The restaurant is no longer there. The motel and everything is there. Like I said before, it's a apartment. Probably because in the area you probably get more constant revenue for an apartment room versus overnight stays. It's probably more steady income. Now, I think the pool was filled in early 2000, some of that time frame, just from looking at historical area footage of it, things like that. You can see here on the screenshot where the bushes are. That's where the pool was at. The bushes kind of hid the pool from the road there. Yeah, like I said, I go past this probably once every month or two. Just going through town. I don't have to go through town. I go through town just to see what changes and things like that. It's just an interesting little town. But yeah, it's still going, but it is an apartment complex now. Now I find it interesting sometimes when I get mail, it's not postmarked. There's no where it was metered or postmarked or anything on either side. It's kind of interesting, kind of odd. I don't know why they would not postmark it. Anyways, this next one comes to us from Weeping Water, Nebraska. Never been to Nebraska, I don't think. Pretty sure I have. Let's just say that. I have no connection to Nebraska. They packaged this one quite well. Let's see what I got in here. Hopefully it doesn't fight me. I'm not in a fighting mood today. Wow. They really did a number on this one. I appreciate the effort they put into protecting these cards here. Let's get this out of the way. Now I have 2 cards from this seller. And we're going to start with this one right here. Now this just looks like your run-of-the-mill old basic motel from the 50s, 60s. And that's exactly what it is. This is the, I think the McGee Motel, I think is what it was called. Anyways, poolside motel and restaurant, Highway 49 North, across from Stuckey's, McGee, Mississippi. Color TV, room phones, swimming pool, an excellent restaurant. Now this, I pass this hotel probably 4, 5, 6 times a year. And it's just off the side of the road, no frill, no spills, no nothing. It's just a basic little mom and pop roadside motel just outside of McGee. This was opened in the 1970s, I believe. Currently, it's a budget inn. Now, it's kind of funny. If you look on Google, on the Google Maps, it says it's a 5-star motel, which is kind of misleading. But the reviews say otherwise. So, yeah. I think the pool is still there. I can't recall off the top of my head. If I can see an aerial photograph, you can see. I want to say they filled it in. A lot of smaller mom and pop motels are filling in their pools just for insurance costs and upkeep and things like that. So, yeah. But this one is still there, just under a different name. And I don't think the restaurant there is still going, but the building is still there. And this next one is a Carriage Inn. And where is this Carriage Inn located? This is the Carriage Inn in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Extra size beds? What's an extra size bed? TV, air conditioned, 24-hour switchboard, direct dial phones, and a restaurant. Southern hospitality at its best. Now, this opened in the 1970s, I believe, and it's just your run-of-the-mill 2-story, has maybe 30, 40 rooms in it. Nothing fancy with it. Has a little lobby area, kind of in this area here. Currently, it's still a Carriage Inn, believe it or not. Can't see the sign, but there is a sign, I think it's right over here. The sign hasn't changed very much over the last 50, 60 years. It's been updated, but still, like I said before, it's still a Carriage Inn. Now, the roof sign is gone. I'm not sure why it's gone, but it is definitely not there anymore. Overall, it's got probably got some mixed reviews, from great to one of the worst motels on the planet. So, kind of pick and choose how you want to go with that. This picture is probably from the 70s, late 70s. Looking at the cars, kind of that time frame. But yeah, kind of interesting. Carriage Inn, I see them every once in a while. I kind of try to find the history of the company, and I think it was a chain company, but I'm not sure if they still are a chain company or what, or they are all franchised out and people just using the name. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. If you know the history of that Carriage Inn motel company, leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know the history of it. I really appreciate it. And actually, that Carriage Inn, right to the left of it, to the east, was a Holiday Inn, and I have a postcard of, maybe 2 postcards of that Holiday Inn. It's not a Holiday Inn anymore, but it's kind of interesting. Little strip right there on the highway. That was a major thoroughfare through the city back in the 60s and 70s in that time frame. And there's some old hotels in that area. But anyways, this next postcard comes to us from Springfield, Ohio, or outside of Columbus, Ohio. Let's see what I got from Ohio. Looks like a big old paddle wheeler. Let's take a look and see if we can find out about this old paddle wheeler. This is the Showboat Sprague in Vicksburg, Mississippi. The mighty steamer Sprague, largest stern wheel towboat ever built, is now permanently docked at Vicksburg. It houses a River Hall of Fame, and during the month of March each year is the scene of Showboat Time, wherein the Dixie Showboat Players present the gay 90s melodrama. Gold in the Hills, open to the public daily throughout the year. Now, like I said, this was built in early 1900s. I think it was like 1901, 1902, somewhere like that. And it was the world's largest steam-powered sternwheeler towboat. At one time, they actually called it Big Mama. And not too far after it being open, like in the late 1900s, 1905 to 1910, that area, it set a world record for towing like 70 barges of coal, which was like 67,000 tons. It was decommissioned in the late 40s, and it was just sitting there for a while. In the mid 70s, they were going to make it a museum, I think. Basically, I'm not sure when this was made. This postcard was made, but in the mid 70s, it was in a like dry dock or docked up. They're renovating it, restoring it, doing some work on it, something like that. And part of it burnt down, and then it just kind of became an eyesore. They lost funding, couldn't get funding. Something happened with it, so they moved it elsewhere in late 70s, early 80s. I think it was like late 70s, and where it eventually actually sunk to the ground. And then I want to say they came through and like kind of blew up the rest of it because it was like a shipping hazard, underwater hazard, something like that, where it was just not safe. So, like I said, this is just a thing of the past. Never got to see it, never even heard of it until I was just searching Mississippi postcards, and this came about. That's something you don't see too much anymore, is riverboats, cruises and tours and stays. I remember going down to the Mississippi River there in New Orleans, and within the last 20, 30 years, seeing 2 and 3, some of them aren't real steamboats, but steamboats, paddle wheelers that would do tours of the river, and they would actually have one that went from the aquarium up the river to the zoo. I did that one time with my girlfriend at the time, and we were literally the only 2 people on that boat besides the crew. It was cool, but it was kind of eerie. It's just a thing of the past you don't see too much anymore. It's a lot of those old steam wheelers. Some of them were when Biloxi, Mississippi started doing casinos in the early 90s. Some of those came down and they made casinos out of them because they weren't even popular in the 90s. But anyways, this next one comes to me from Hartford, Connecticut area. We're just going to do that way. Very well protected card. I appreciate it. Looks like we got another old school mom and pop motel. I'm kind of fascinated by old school motels, if you can't see. But anyways, this is looks like the Bama Motel. Yep, the Bama Motel, Birmingham, Alabama. 10 minutes from downtown. Ultra modern, 22 soundproof rooms. 100% air conditioned. From rooms? Okay. Phones and a 21-inch TV. A place of distinction to stop. Very interesting. They got 21-inch screen TVs. Now, we have those in our bathrooms. Yeah. Anyways, this was open in the 1950s in that area, probably mid-50s, looking at historical aerial footage of it. Not much has really changed with this motel. The sign, that old school neon sign, it's gone. There is a newer sign, and it's still kind of outdated. I'm not sure when that old sign went away. That's a very cool, I bet you that was pretty neat, lit up at night. Something like that. It says it's time to stop. There's a clock. Interesting. The shingle roof there that you see is now a red metal roof. I noticed that looking on Google Images. I guess they had to go with the whole Alabama Roll Tide, Crimson Tide football, red Bama. Yeah. that sort of thing. But yeah, this hotel is still going. It is still the Bama Motel. It's kind of interesting that it's been around for as long as it has, and hasn't changed name. So that's kind of interesting. So that's why I grabbed it. Didn't pay a whole lot for this one. This guy was cool. Just a little mom and pop. Probably had maybe 15, maybe 20 rooms the most in it. Still pretty interesting. Now, whatever this is in here is not there anymore. I think it's boarded off or bricked in or something like that. It's kind of weird. I don't know what that is in there. Looks like it's maybe a restaurant or just a lounging room. It's kind of weird. I don't know. But if you know what that is, if you stayed here before, let me know in the comments below. I'm kind of curious of what that is. Now, it wouldn't be a Mailbag Monday if I didn't get an envelope from Dewey Beach, Delaware. Good old Lightfoot. I'm just going to go this way with it. I get postcards from this seller probably every couple of weeks. They have very good deals on them, and a lot of postcards that I like. Nothing that's have a lot of things like that. Okay, if you watched the channel before and you've seen the videos, you see they have a lot of stuff like this. That's what I'd go for. So, anyways, let's take a look here and see what we got first. This is a citrus tower. This is the Citrus Observation Tower, Florida's finest attraction, located on U.S. Highway 27 at Claremont, Florida, the heart of the Citrus Belt. An electric elevator takes you up to the clouds, where beautiful lakes and hills and thousands of acres of citrus groves may be seen. The top of the tower is 542 feet above sea level and is the highest spot in Florida. Now, this is the highest man-made spot in Florida. The highest physical spot, earthen spot, is kind of the Panhandle. I've been to it here years ago. It's a little roadside park, and it's just kind of like a hill on the road. Now, the tower, there is a tower or a spire that goes, that's where the 500 feet. The only part that you can really utilize is like 225 feet above the ground, I believe. So the whole 542 feet is above sea level. So they kind of throw that in there too. The tower itself is only like 225, 250 feet tall. It's not as tall as they kind of portray it to be. Now, it was built in 1956 for just as an attraction for people to come in and look at the oranges and the fields and the lakes and things like that. Back then, there was not many houses out there. You can see, kind of now. This car is from 1962. So you kind of look around. There's not much out there. There's all kinds of orange groves as far as you can see, and some palm trees. I'm sure there's orange groves back that way, but there's nothing else out here. Today, all this is gone. All this is all businesses and it's houses and things like that. Back over here on the other side of it, there was a citrus grove, probably the last one in the area. If you look at on Google Earth, the overview of it, you can see them there. If you go to a street view, a current street view, they're gone. Like literally, they're gone. So there is probably no citrus trees in this area that you can see. Now, they say when you're up there, you can see for up to 35 miles, that's pretty far to see with the naked eye. So you probably won't see any citrus trees out there now. You just see houses and businesses and lakes, things like that. Now, the money that they got to build this actually came from public stock sale. People bought stock in this, hoping it was going to do good and turn them a profit. So I'm not sure how much money it cost, but anyways, I think it was like 5 million pounds of concrete they used to build this, and like 150,000 pounds of rebar. I mean, that's substantial. Pretty interesting. Now, I want to say, like, the first couple of years it was built, they had like about 500,000 visitors to it each year, which is pretty impressive back in the early 50s to 60s, which those numbers declined in the mid 60s when the Florida Turnpike came through on the other side of town, basically, or good ways out of town. It drew a lot of visitors away from the area, and the popularity of the tower started to diminish. Now, between then and now, it's been bought and sold and painted, I think, 2 or 3 times. Once it was like a green color. I'm not sure what the other color was, but it's currently the current owner has actually gone back and painted it to the original color that you see here. Now, in the 80s, I think there was 3 hard freezes that really killed off a lot of the oranges in the area. So that even lessened the people coming out there, because they wanted to come out there and see oranges, and now there's not any oranges. So anyways, it's just kind of sad how it's gone back. Now you can still go out there and see it. It costs you about $10 or $11 for adults, and I think it's like $6-7 for kids, something like that. So if you want to go out there and look at all the houses from above, you can go out there to the Citrus Tower and do so. And this next one looks like a Mammoth Cave RR Company, Hercules 4. Let's take a look. It says Hercules Mammoth Cave Train, Mammoth Cave National Park, Kentucky. From 1886 to 1929, train service provided by the Mammoth Cave Railroad Company between Glasgow Junction, now Park City, and Mammoth Cave, a distance of 9 miles. The train is now an exhibit in Mammoth Cave National Park. Now, like I said, this train moved people and goods from, what was it called? Park City, I think it was? Yeah, they called it Park City, really. From Park City back and forth to Mammoth Cave area. It did that for like 45 years. Now, this was not the original train locomotive, but it was actually the last one. This was what do they call it? A Baldwin dummy train. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you look at it, it doesn't look like your normal steam locomotive. They actually designed it to look more like a streetcar. Speaking of streetcars, it actually came from either Memphis or Nashville, the streetcar lines out there back in the day when they ran streetcars and things like that. So it is not in its original spot, but that is actually where it landed. Kind of interesting that I was actually planning on going to Mammoth Caves this week, and yeah, that fell through. Anyways, unfortunate. But yeah, just going back and looking at Google Maps when I was kind of researching the area of Mammoth Caves for this vacation that I had planned, I noticed that both the train and the whatever you want to call it, passenger car, whatever you want to call it, they're kind of covered up. So I don't know if they were doing some painting or maybe they cover them up for the winter time. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I really was kind of looking forward to just going out there to Mammoth Caves and seeing the train, which I'll get out there one day, and want to go out there to the what's it called? Oh, the wigwams. Wigwams are just outside of town too. We were gonna plan on staying in a wigwam, but like I said, all that kind of fell through. So, anyways, that kind of completes this week's Mailbag Monday. Got some interesting little tourist attractions and transportation that turned into tourist attractions, such as that right there that never made it through. Then we got some motels, got some mom and pop motels, got some mass-produced motels, got some motels that's turned into apartments. Kind of some interesting little mix or spread of postcards this week. If you've ever been to Mammoth Caves, what was your favorite part about it? I'm still trying to get out there. I'm hoping to get out there next year now, which I've been hoping to get out this year for. It's been 2-3 years I've been planning this trip, but it didn't make it. Anyways, so if you've been to Mammoth Cave, what's your favorite part about Mammoth Caves? Let me know. I'm trying to kind of plan my vacation again, I guess you'd say, and just looking for people's opinions on the whole Mammoth Caves. If you remember any one of these attractions or hotels or motels before, and you got some thoughts or opinions or memories of it, let me know in the comment section below. I really like to know what you think about them. But I'm going to go finish up my Coca-Cola here, get my shoes off, relax, enjoy the rest of my vacation. But I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you next time.